This is a podcast or something like that. Hello, how's it going? Welcome back to the VJP, the Verbal Journal podcast. Welcome back. I hope you're having a great time. If you're listening to these episodes one after the other nonstop, hey, take a break. Slow down, get some water. Go to the bathroom. You've had to pee for like an hour. And if you're listening to them one by one, week by week, hey, it's been a while. Hope you had a good week. Why don't you listen to them one after the other, like the pee guy or the pee person? Next up on the agenda, so I think the sound is better this week. I actually don't know what the exact problem was last week. It was a combination of things. I think just fiddling around with Streamlabs for a variety of things, as I was talking about. It ended up bad. It was bad audio. Something was messed up about it. I thought it was only coming through one headphone at first. Like, I don't use headphones, but I put in headphones to test it out last week. And I realized, no, it wasn't. It was coming through both ears. So I thought it was fine, but it wasn't fine. It wasn't fine. There was some issue with it. It was, I think, still predominantly coming through the left ear, but it was also just like tinny. It was like a messed up. With all that being said, I think I've fixed it. So I think it's fine now. But if it's not, I'm sorry. And let me know and I'll keep working on it. But I think it's fine. I think it's fine. It should sound fine to you. Any other problems with the podcast today are probably unrelated to that audio quality. Today's going to be a very interesting episode. What is it? Episode 45? I think it's 45. Episode 45 or something. It's going to be an interesting episode today. It's the follow-up episode. That's right. We're going to be following up on a number of different things. We're going to be following up on them. Okay? So it's the follow-up episode. So for those of you who like to follow up on things, you are going to fucking absolutely go wild for this episode. Let me just tell you that. Because we're going to be following up on a lot of stuff. First, something not following up on. I have qualified for Medicaid. No, I'm sorry. I've qualified for Blue Sky, the Blue Sky app. So I now have a Blue Sky account. So that's I don't know how you share your Blue Sky name, but my name is What's Therapy on Blue Sky. Now you're probably wondering, hey, what's therapy? You're pretty quick to the Blue Sky trend. You must have been sort of in the know. You know, you must be thinking, hey, you're one of the first people here to, go over to Blue Sky. So how were you so in the know about that? Well, yeah, I just, I go to a lot of parties. I talk to a lot of rich and famous people. It's definitely not that someone I follow on Twitter who I don't know and have never had any interaction with posted their invite codes and they have a small account. So I was one of the first 5 people to find them, even though the first 2 codes I tried didn't work because someone else must have used them and then the third one did. So there were 5 codes listed. I tried the 4th one first. I figured, okay, someone's going to go to the last one, right? Because someone's going to figure the last one was tried last, so they're going to try the last one. So I tried the 4th one out of 5. That didn't work. It had already been used. So then I tried the 5th one. The last one, it didn't work. Then I tried the 3rd one, and it did work. So thank you so much, this person. Not that I care. I do care because I don't know. If I could follow all the same people than Twitter and not use Twitter, that would be good. But the problem is people just are posting on Twitter. We just have to actually post on a different website because, anyways, doesn't matter. Okay. I don't like, it'd be good to just not post at all. But, you can't just do that. I don't know. Social media serves important functions. It's not, completely pointless. Anyways, follow me on Blue Sky if you want. All right, into the follow-up episode. So, first thing we're going to be following up on is Shohei Ohtani, the big news, the $700 million contract. And I was like, how did they even sign this guy? Aren't there sort of limits to that? So, it turns out, the news came out this week, Shohei Ohtani's $700 million contract with the Dodgers calls for him to, and this is if you don't follow baseball, Shohei Ohtani is an amazing player. He is an absolutely outstanding pitcher and hitter, which is very, very rare. And he's unbelievably good at both. Like, unbelievably good. So Shohei Ohtani's $700 million contract calls for him to be paid only $2 million a year for the next 10 seasons, with $680 million deferred until the end of the deal. And then it says the CBT hit on the contract is going to be about $46 million, a huge discount for LA. Now, I don't know what CBT is in this context. Let me look that up because I'm so close to cost, but because I know it's not cognitive behavioral therapy, or the other one, competitive balance tax. Okay, yeah. So somehow, and then it says the structure of the deal is unprecedented. So no player has ever done this, just deferred like the vast majority of their payment to the end of the contract, seemingly to help the team who's signing them not break the limit of how much money they can spend on their players. Multiple people involved have said Ohtani proposed the structure. So apparently Ohtani proposed it. He said, no, you can save $680 million. There could be some reasons he could have done it because he wants them to sign other players so they can win. He wanted to defer his salary. It's just a wild deal. And then so we find this Atlantic article about it. He's deferring $68 million a year. It's just wild. Yeah, because he wanted to make it so the Dodgers could continue spending money on a lot of other stars because he wants to win. That's wild. Gets paid out without interest. Yeah. He makes about $50 million a year annually away from the diamond, just from endorsements and off the field ventures like I guess oil extraction. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Wow, that's wild. Yeah, for CBT purposes, the expected average annual value on the contract is said to be about $46 million per year. It's still the highest average value in baseball history, even with the deferred amount not being factored in. Wow, that's wild. It's still the most expensive yearly average value, even with the deferred amount. Okay, well, this is not interesting. We're following up, and I have 3 more articles following up on this? This is not interesting. Okay, this is just a video. We don't need to watch that. Who's in charge of this thing? I mean, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Okay, sources. Dodgers Shohei Ohtani can opt out if Walter Friedman exit. So if owner Mark Walter or president of baseball operations Andrew Friedman is no longer involved with the team, Shohei Ohtani can opt out. That's interesting. He can leave at the end of the season if these 2 executives leave. That's wow. Can you imagine working a job and being like, if we get a new boss who sucks, I get to just leave with millions of dollars. I guess it's the millions of dollars thing that kind of is cool there. Okay. And last follow-up on the Shohei Ohtani point. Oh, no, never mind. We are on the next follow-up. Okay, this is great. So now another sports follow-up. This is more interesting, though. We're following up on Draymond Green. Did I... Wait, now I actually forget. Wait, which day? Did I announce it? Did I talk about it? Draymond Green? Because I know I talked about Draymond Green getting suspended and then not having regrets. Did I report last week on the fact that he's now been kicked out of basketball? Draymond Green, NBA. What day did that happen on? Well, I don't remember, but yeah, this guy, I've been talking about how he makes it impossible to even like the Golden State Warriors, especially because the Warriors have enabled him for years. So yeah, Draymond Green's just fully out of the NBA. He's suspended indefinitely until the Warriors address his severe behavioral challenge, misbehaviors, his behavioral misbehaviors. So the Golden State Warriors are committed to forward Draymond Green despite his indefinite suspension for striking, which it means hitting, Phoenix's Yusuf Nurkic, who's on my fantasy team, in the face. On Thursday, Warriors general manager said part of the decision to not put a hard number on Green's suspension was to ensure there would be time for Green to get himself in a place where he can be around the team long term. Keep in mind, he punched a teammate last year. Still on the team, though. Draymond Green, not the teammate. The teammate left, Jordan Poole. Dunleavy couldn't ensure there would ever be a change in Green's behavior. I can't guarantee you that. Yeah, no kidding. Remember how he said he doesn't live with regrets? Maybe he should start living with regrets. Hey, Draymond Green, if you listen to the Verbal Journal podcast, here's my suggestion. Have regrets, you fucking idiot. Have regrets. Stop hurting people. Have regrets. If you have to choose between hurting people and having regrets is better. Okay, next follow-up regarding the H-Bomber guy video. H-Bomb dropped the A-Bomb. I came up with that last week. That was pretty funny. Yeah, so I talked about how H-Bomb strangely had his YouTube image no longer there, which almost looked like it was imitating James Somerton's lack of image now that he deleted his channel after H-Bomb made the video about him. But update to that, H-Bomb's image is back. I assume YouTube restored it, or he got sick of waiting for YouTube to restore it and restored it himself. It's him eating a banana while he's in a banana costume. I think that's what it was before. Either way, it looks normal to me. So followed up on that. It got resolved. Another follow-up, I guess this will be the chess update as well. There was a big tournament this past week. It was the finals of the chess tour that happened this year, which is, multiple tournaments into a tour. It's like a tournament of tournaments, sort of, or whatever. A tour of tournaments. A tournament. Then there was some video. Oh, and Magnus won it. It was good. He beat Wesley So. It was a good match in the finals. But then I just saw some video. It's in Man City, the football club. It's someone from Man City who I don't know called Pep. I don't watch this sport. Oh, the manager. Okay, he's the manager. It's him hanging out with Magnus Carlsen, watching football, playing chess. And I just thought it was really funny because I have this running thing on this podcast where I am giving Magnus a hard time because he hasn't taken out of his social media bio world chess champion, even though he's not the world chess champion. He's not. He's abdicated the throne. He's objectively not the world chess champion, but he still has it in his title. Oh, wow. He updated his social media header, so it no longer says world chess champion. It's actually an image from this video with Pep, but it still says world chess champion in his bio. If you go to his website, I'm sure it doesn't say that there, right? Connection is not private. Whoa, I don't get that message a lot on this computer. Interesting. Okay, can't go to magnuscarlsen.com. But yeah, wow, he changed his header so it no longer says world chess champion. Does still say it in his bio, so trust me, that's why I'm not going nuts here. I would be freaking out if he had taken it out of his bio. But nope, still there. Anyways, the funny thing about this video with Pep is it's called When Geniuses Meet, which, by the way, I think I just hate the word genius. I mean, I just strongly don't like it. I think it's bad. I think it shouldn't be used. I think it's like, it's just sort of demonstrates a misunderstanding of people, I think. Because genius I would view as a real thing, but it's a quality that people can have, like a sense of humor. Like you can have genius, but it's like you're not a genius. Anyways, that's how I'd see it. So the funny thing about this video is it's called When Geniuses Meet. Pep meets chess grandmaster Magnus Carlsen. And if you don't get why that's funny, it's because calling him a grandmaster, chess grandmaster, is very funny, because there are thousands of grandmasters, 2,000 or 3,000, I think. It's still a very elite club, but for someone who's the highest rated chess player in the world, Magnus Carlsen, to be called a chess grandmaster is it's like talking to it's like calling like Travis Barker like a musician. Does that count? Why is Travis Barker the first one that came into my mind? It's like calling freaking fuck. I mean, I guess it's like calling like H Bomber guy like a YouTuber. No, that's I can't think of a good I guess it's like calling like a Christian Bale an actor. Wait, no, but he is an actor. No, because that would be the equivalent of calling Magnus a chess player. It's just funny. Oh, yeah. It'd be like calling someone who'd won an Oscar nominee. That's the perfect, I'd say that's the perfect analogy. Okay. So he's a grandmaster. Good for you, Magnus. Congrats on the grandmaster. Oh, okay. No, here we go. Down here is NBA suspends Draymond Green. So no, I had not talked about it last week. I had just talked about him not regretting his past violence, putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold, which he had just gotten in trouble for before hitting Yusuf Nurkic in the face. Anyways, goodbye, Draymond Green. I hope people realize just how much he's been enabled by the team. Next up, this is interesting. Speaking of Magnus Carlsen, so this is just a big follow-up. Like, you might have heard about the whole stuff where, like, he accused Hans Niemann of cheating when Hans won in this game against Magnus in the Sinkefeld Cup last year on September 4th, 2022, according to this document. So FIDE, the International Chess Organization, has been looking into this whole thing. Hans Niemann ended up suing Magnus and Chess.com and Hikaru. That got settled, I believe, out of court. It was a weird settlement where, like, it seemed like Hans had just gotten away with walking back his admissions of cheating, and I don't know. Anyways, we were waiting for FIDE, the international organization, to rule on it and basically decide how much they were punishing Magnus for accusing Hans of cheating and withdrawing out of the tournament and publicly insinuating that Hans cheated, because that's a big deal. You can't just accuse someone of cheating, even if they have a history of cheating. Basically what they did is they said, okay, they looked into it. It took them a lot of months. They found Magnus not guilty of everything except guilty of withdrawing. Here we go. Hold on. GM Carlsen's suspicions of cheating were based on reasonable grounds, despite the ultimate conclusion that GM Niemann had not made himself guilty of over-the-board cheating. The reasonableness of GM Carlsen's belief rested on GM Niemann's own confession of online cheating in a report released by Chess.com. GM Carlsen's withdrawal from the Sinkefeld Cup was without valid reason, and if he had concerns about the fair play of his opponent, he should have followed the prescribed procedure of making a confidential in-tournament cheating complaint to the organizers. Yeah, true. But he wasn't. I think Carlsen wasn't confident enough that Hans was cheating in that game, so he didn't want to go through it that way. He just was pissed off about having to sit next to Hans, who wasn't really technically supposed to be in that tournament, and who had a long history of cheating that he had never acknowledged, and also is a kind of a dick. Like, he's just, like, there are many cases of Hans being a total dick, like not wanting to pay $10 for a charity tournament publicly, famously. Like, he's just he has a terrible attitude, and I look forward to seeing whether he can actually subsist at the top. We were talking last week about how he sort of romanticizes himself being similar to Bobby Fischer. He's been posting weird stuff on social media even since last week. I don't even want to follow up on it. It kind of feels exploitative, and I hope that he's just in like his Kanye phase or something. But anyways, Magnus got fined 10,000 euros for this, which is not a lot for someone of his stature and feels like a pretty fair punishment, I would say. He's probably appealing it. I don't know. This is case number 2, 2023. They don't have a lot of cases, I don't think. Okay. So that's that. And then a few more things. We got a short episode today. A few more things. One cool thing I've been up to is I've mentioned before I watched the Not Even a Show. I watched the Not Even a Show on YouTube. I made a video about it. And I also listened to the Not Even a Show podcast with Chris James and Ben Fawcett, and it's very funny. And they do improv on it, improv comedy, and they do sort of intentionally bad improv. And it's very funny. And they've been doing it for a while, since like 2018 or something. And they just do like 1 or 2 scenes an episode, sometimes no scenes an episode. And I decided I wanted to compile all the improv scenes. Okay? So I went through every episode and I noted the timestamps of the improv scenes. This is what I get up to when I'm not making YouTube videos. And I timestamped all the improv scenes of every single episode. It was actually very easy to do quick. Not easy. It took me like a week or 2. But I was able to do it fairly quickly. I didn't have to listen to all the episode because they always do the improv towards the end. And I've also listened to the episode so many times. I have a feel for like whether they... Like if I click around in an episode, I can tell after like 1 second whether I'm in the improv scene or before or after. Well, also they do it like at the end of every episode, basically. So it's easy to know that you're usually not after it. But anyways, so that's very cool. It's extremely long, and I'm actually not sure how I'm going to upload it because I was going to do it on my side channel as an unlisted video, but I think my side channel might have lost the ability to post like long videos when I got punished for swearing too much in my video about Todd fucking Grande. So I don't know if I'll even be able to upload it on my side channel, in which case I might upload it unlisted on my main channel. But that's just going to feel really weird. I don't want to upload like a 10-hour NEAS improv comedy compilation to my main channel, even unlisted. It's very bizarre, and I honestly don't think I'm going to do that. So I'll have to find a way to get this online. It's going to be so long. It's already like 7.5 hours, and I'm not even close to done. It's going to be so long. Anyways, it's really fun. Even if I don't end up posting it, it's really nice to listen to. It's like one of the funnier parts of the podcast. So having a huge compilation of all the improv is very funny. Okay. Next up. So I mentioned reading. I read a lot about artist biographies lately. That's been sort of the theme of the podcast, is that I talk about these artist biographies I read. And I forget what the last one I talked about, the Picasso one? Yeah, and then I sort of took a little break. I'm reading a Jackson Pollock biography now. And it's really, really good. It's by, I think the author's name is like B.H. Friedman or something. And very, very good writer, which is good because after Calvin Tompkins, the one who wrote a few of the biographies I talked about, Duchamp and Rauschenberg, I really didn't feel like I would ever find someone I liked as much. And I don't know if B.H. Friedman is quite as good, but just about as good. I mean, if not better. Like, it's very, very well written, extremely. Like, it's not, like making the artist out to be a saint. It's like critical. It's like aware. It's, human. It's just like it's in touch with reality. So it's just good writing, learning a lot about Jackson Pollock and his sort of rise to fame and his life and just like the New York art scene of the 40s and 50s. And it's very interesting. Very interesting. Very sad life and extremely severe alcoholic from a very young age. I think before he was even an adult, he was an alcoholic, or at least quite on his way. And it's very sad how much he struggled with alcohol use. And he was a very violent person as well, very angry and very upset. And it's interesting. I didn't know what his art was like before the drip paintings too. He did a sort of like surrealism, but like not full on surrealism, more like a graphic sort of like like a lot of like totem sort of symbols and sort of like Picasso-esque, but I mean it's interesting. It's interesting. He was I didn't realize that he was such a skilled like he went to art school and like he could draw. Like I didn't realize he could draw. You know, he can draw way better than me. You know, so I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. But his surrealism wasn't like that. I haven't seen surrealist paintings he did that sort of exhibited that. They more just had like interesting sort of intuitive composition and flowy structure to it. Anyways, screen time report. We're getting to the end here. I'm going to do my screen time report. I like to do that. So check your weekly screen time report on your phone. Okay. 1 hour per day, 1 hour and 6 minutes. Under an hour every day except yesterday, 3 hours, because I had my phone playing while I was painting and like watching something on the TV. I was like watching a sports game on mute. Then I had my phone playing YouTube videos. So that's what was going on there. And that's the screen time report. Thanks so much for listening to that. And for our last segment, I'm going to talk about one more thing, but first I want to do this segment. This is the Verbal Journal podcast mailbag. So you can write into verbaljournalpodcast@gmail.com. That's verbaljournalpodcast@gmail.com. And we have a question. Wow. Hello, Sass. Thank you for writing in. Hope this question doesn't have a lot of sass, right? Am I right? This looks great. I'm skimming it. Thank you so much for writing in. First of all, did I already say that? Okay. Hi, I've got a question. 'Tis a random one. How do you feel about the term second? And then it changes. So it starts with one font, 'tis a random one, and then it goes to a new font. Sass's question for this next part, which almost seems like they've copied it from like somewhere else, maybe like a homework assignment. Okay, so I'm gonna assume I'm helping some. Wait, no, but semesters are over right now. How could I be helping someone with that? Well, it would have to be like a special continuing ed. Okay, how do you feel about the term second screen content? I do, and then the question continues. I do think people doing other things while half watching or even listening to shows either on TV or YouTube isn't a modern thing, but since media corporations have started to use the term to refer to their own output, there seems to be a backlash. In addition to this, several fellow artist friends have gone cold turkey on watching as they draw and criticize their behavior and others for treating YouTuber and TV shows that way when they work. When I found your stuff really great to listen to as I draw. Wow, that's such a great question. And thank you so much for asking. So I actually have never heard of the term second screen content. I've never heard that term. I didn't realize people called it that. And I feel uncomfortable about the term immediately, even though I was literally just saying how I do it myself. To me, the phenomenon is not the same as the term. There's something kind of uncomfortable about it being understood in such a coherent way as like a thing that we do. The idea that people are producing something intentionally as second screen content, I guess is not too surprising. I mean, it's understandable that, not everything made is going to be, for the foreground of our experience. I have a hard time. Like if I was making like instrumental music, maybe I'd be like, oh, this is, well, then it's not a screen, right? I can't really imagine making something intentionally meant to look at that's meant to be second screen content. When I make my videos, I definitely am, I'm not on screen with myself. I know that sort of making it, I'm like, I don't really feel that I need to be on screen. I don't feel that it adds that much to the situation. For most of my videos, sometimes I feel like it adds something, but with me being off screen, I definitely think my videos, especially the whole Better Call Saul Breaking Bad videos, like those could definitely be watched without being watched. I don't think that's bad at all. You get a ton of information if you're watching it, but you don't need that information usually. You definitely won't miss a ton of essential things if you're not looking. But there is a lot of information in how it's visually edited and stuff like that. But So there's a few good parts of this question. So that's just from the production side. I don't, yeah, I guess I'm sure it's not a modern thing. You go back decades, people listen to the radio, listen to records while they make art or do whatever. I was just talking with a client the other day about, like where's the line between like overstimulating yourself for fun stuff versus not letting yourself kind of just experience the natural flows of life, overstimulating yourself in a good way versus a bad way, basically. And I certainly, like I just said, I spent hours yesterday painting while watching chess or watching a sports game, literally having a sports game on mute, like having a football game on mute or something. So I could just look over to it every now and then painting, and then having the podcast that I was just talking about, the improv episodes play. So that was literally hours of my day. Like that's numerous. I mean, that's I have a screen, I have a painting, and actually, yeah. If it wasn't the podcast, it could have been like a video on my phone. So no, I don't think it's great to do that. I think it's good to just I'll have other days where I paint and have nothing going on sound or visual wise. And it is good. You're processing your memories and your thoughts and you're thinking more and you're remembering things. And that's very valuable. So from a producer standpoint, I don't make things intentionally to be background, but it sort of just works with a fair amount of these videos, the Breaking Bad video and stuff. Like I wouldn't want to make my Breaking Bad video, for instance, like in a way where you have to stare at it the whole time, not because I care about people staring at it the whole time, but because that's just not the type of video I want to make. I want one that sort of has like a coherent stream of words to it. And then you can watch it sometimes, but it is sort of more like, I don't know. I've talked about this before, like where sometimes I'm like, it's almost strange to think about myself as like making videos. Like a lot of my videos on YouTube, don't use the visual format as much as other videos do. Someone like H-Bomber Guy like has a lot more going on visually usually than I do. Or a little more going on, at least. It depends. I usually have stuff going on visually. It's usually not like a meaningless dimension of it, the visual dimension. So let's see. In addition, several artist friends have gone cold turkey. So yeah, I will say I used to criticize people. Like I remember criticizing like someone I know for watching like movies and corny stuff while they were painting. I definitely wouldn't do that anymore. I think there's value in trying different things, and you don't want to get into like a place where you just see art as like just kind of I don't want to say comforting because that's not a bad thing, but like you don't want it to be like a palliative thing. Sometimes it's, it should have more attention and energy than just a sort of like comforting, not paying attention thing. But it kind of just depends on my mood. Yeah, sometimes I just want to do art in a way where I am in a normal chill mood and not like in some sort of like elevated, like energized, like inspired state. So yeah, sometimes it's really just about just sitting down and putting pen to paper, so to speak, more like brush to canvas, but for me personally, but yeah, I would never be offended by people listening to my videos rather than watching them. They're definitely conducive to that. Trying to think if I made like, I mean, I wouldn't want to like be at a party and like my videos playing in the background. I say that, but that would actually be pretty funny. But like certain things, it would be like, why is that on if no one's listening to it? It's one thing for the visuals to be ignored. It's another for the audio to be ignored. It doesn't need to be on in the background if the audio is not being listened to. But yeah, I'd be interested in what are those second screen content things? Like who's like, let me look that up. Second screen content. Second screen advertising, a marketing technique that involves targeting consumers through a second screen while they watch television. Wow. Interesting. Second screen advertising. How is that? How do you advertise 4 second screens? Advertisers have increasingly moved away from simply interrupting the first screen content. Examples: contest, promotions, discount, active posting on X. What is X? What the fuck is X? Never heard of that. Cool. Is this article written by AI? It really seems like it is. No, Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy is an artificial intelligence. No, I'm just kidding. Chris Murphy is an editor. Okay. Thank you so much, Sass. I really appreciate the question, and thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my response while you're doing something else. No, we need your undivided attention here at the Verbal Journal podcast. Thanks so much for listening, y'all. This was a great episode, I think, and I'll see you next week. Have a good life until then. I'll be chilling, and I hope you are too. Oh yeah, I recently posted on the Patreon and the YouTube members page like a summary post of previous posts going back. Not every post that's ever happened, but a bunch of them. So if you weren't sort of familiar with the content, like it can be kind of hard when you join as a member or patron unless you really put some time into exploring. You can sort of miss a lot of the earlier stuff. So I tried to make it a little easier if you want to go back, listen, watch any of that stuff. There is a lot. I started a Patreon, shortly after making a YouTube page, and I started putting stuff up there, and I made it all available to the members. So there is a lot, but okay. Have a great life. I'll talk to you soon. Keep writing in, and thanks so much for listening, y'all. I hope you're doing well, and all the best. Bye.
This is a podcast.